Okay, so today's video, it's gonna be a little different, just like yesterday, no gameplay, but it is something very important. So I want to say about a week or so ago, Dolly's Factory, the official server, they released a Google forum called Early Access Feedback Round 2, which I didn't even know there was a Round 1. So essentially the community manager says, hey workers, we're looking for more direct feedback from the community, and we'll try to read every single response we get. Anyone who provides really valuable feedback might get rewarded with some Dolly bucks. Now, unfortunately though, the Google forum is closed, so you can no longer have access to it, but I managed to get my hands on it. And I even managed to screenshot my responses, which thank goodness I did. So before we show our feedback, you understand that the algorithm sucks ass, correct? So I need you to go ahead and do your part. Like the video, dweeb. And for those of you that are not regulars on the channel, you can drop it whenever. Alright, so it reads, please be polite. Freja and other devs will be the ones reading this, and we put a lot of ourselves into this game. Try not to compare us to Danny's World or our other competitors, as it won't be productive in feedback. Which is good, because I feel as though every time Dolly's Factory is talked about, and look, listen, it can't be helped, okay? It's constantly being compared to Danny's World. I mean, it is a competitor. And when the game first came out, it was very, very familiar. Now we're at a place where the two are different. You can't play Danny's World like how you would in Dolly's Factory, and the inverse is true too. You can't play Dolly's Factory like how you would in Dandy's World. They don't work that way. So it's good to talk about the game for the game and not in comparison to the other one. Though I do think it's sometimes very healthy to do so, just not in this instance. All right, so the first official question reads, how would you rate the selection of plushies? There's currently 12 in the game. I put 6 stars, okay? I know people may say that's overglazing, that they can't be perfect, but the thing is, we're at a place right now where the plushies are very, very good. I even made a tier list. The only character that managed to be underwhelming was Doug, but he just recently got buffed and he's in a really good spot. I would say the only plushie that isn't benefiting so well is, well, Thim, and that's only because of the damn, well, the shields and whatnot. If the shields weren't so damn frequent, then Thim would be absolutely god tier. But regardless, all these plushies have a place. Whether it be for the Doug zone like Cinnabon, whether it be for working on machines like Zoro, support with Jinx and Rocky. You want to be the best of the best, you got Felicia, she's good for gameplay. I mean, everybody here fits really well. And every single time people ask me, Cyber, who do you think is like the worst plush? I can't give a proper answer. They're all usable. It truly is one of those games where you can't just go off of a tier list. You gotta pick a character that fits your personality, that fits your playstyle. If you're a character that likes running around, slowing down, Queenie is perfect. You want to be a tank, go with Coda. Healer, Thim, objective chaser, Doug. I mean, there's just so much here, man. So yeah, I think 6 is proper. So the next question is, who's your favorite plushie? And tell us why. I mean, listen, man. I really like Coda, Felicia, and Zoro, but I think out of all of them, it has to be Felicia. I wrote down Felicia. The reason why is because she's what a challenge character ought to be. And yeah, that's absolutely right. The cool gimmick about her is that she can snowball and essentially become stronger. That is an awesome gameplay mechanic. So she's pathetic and weak at the start, right? The weakest character in the game, but then she can become the strongest. That is an awesome gameplay feature. That's what makes this character so unique and fun. It's probably the one character that really put Dolly's on the spotlight. Anyways, to continue, I put down challenging yet not a burden on your team with rich rewards if you do end up doing well with said character. From the art style to the gameplay. Yeah, she looks fantastic, man. She's just 10 out of 10. Anyways, that's my response for my favorite plushie. I constantly switch between Felicia and Coda, but for that one, I chose Felicia. Next question, it asks, is there a plushie ability idea you would want to see in the game? If enough people seem to agree, we might add it. So unfortunately, you can't see my full response there. And I know, it's gonna tie into Danny's World. But I had the idea, and this was just my guess during the Halloween event. I wanted, but also predicted that there would be a ghost-like character because, well, I mean, every single character in that game with regards to sibling relations, like for example, Flutter and Flight, Cosmo and Ginger, I figured Connie was gonna receive a sibling. And I thought it would be really damn cool if the character could possess another well, tune. Essentially, said tune provides extra speed and stat buffs. It's like putting two tunes together into one, if that makes sense. And I think for Dollies, that would actually be very cool. Could you imagine a plushie sort of possessing you? You're still in control, of course, but you gain massive stat increases. You can work on a machine and have another help you, so it's like 3-on-1. They can save you in case you're slow. I mean, there's a lot of benefit there. Of course, you do have to add some kind of repercussions. I don't remember exactly what I put down, but I said something along the lines of, if said plushie is possessed, maybe double damage. Not just for the plushie that's being possessed, but the ghost plushie themselves should take way more damage. It's high risk, high reward type character. So you want to be careful with their ability. But that's really all I could remember, so take that with a grain of salt. That's how I visualize a plushie. If I were to have one in game, of course. All right, so next one reads, how would you rate the selection of charms? I put 5 stars. The charms are so damn powerful and unique. Many of these have util. I use Workaholic, Dog Tag, Carrot Rush, Extra Honey I sometimes use. Fortis Stitch, absolutely. Stitch Heart, I know a lot of people will view this as kind of a lesser, but I use it. Dolly's Thread, I haven't really found that many thin players, so I don't really use it, but I think it's good. Backpack I use, absolutely. Feather Step, I don't like this one. This is why I gave it 5 instead of 6, because there are some charms here that are just not viable, not usable, or just really weak by comparison. So yeah, Swift Swim is terrible. Stun Immune, there's times, but I'm gonna be so dead ass honest with you. I don't use this because once you used up everything, well, it's a useless charm in your inventory. Adrenaline Rush, good. Bell Shock, good. Fleeting Mirage, good. Candy Cane, good. Fancy Stitching, that sucks, I'm not gonna lie. Judgment Call, good. I mean, and this one especially because it carries a boon and a bane. Okay, good blessing, I'm not even gonna pretend that's good. Hush Hush, I might see some util. I gotta level up fully. I wanna see how it works well with Felicia, but I think it's fine. More, good for Train, good for Felicia. Junk Kid, good. Cupid, good. Venus, good. Aphrodite, investment, but not that good. Hera, I think it could be better. But you see how many charms I said were good? That's a lot, man. That's a good majority. That's why I gave it 5 stars. Not perfect, but we're getting there. Okay, so next question. What do you think of the game's difficulty? I put 3 by accident because I was reading that as mid, when in reality, I should have put 2. I think the game is a little easier than most. One, because some of the rejects just don't really impose a threat, though they recently changed this with the rejects receiving a buff. But either way, that could still be negated with shields. I mean, shields are such an abused item. So my rating would have actually been 2 now that I look at this. Then the next one is a follow-up. It says, leave some more details about the difficulty here if you'd like. So I sort of mentioned how it used to be that at the start of when Dolly's Factory came out, the game was so much harder for unintended purposes such as higher speed, the ability of the rejects to hit you multiple times. So I said I would love to see a specialized mode where it's more difficult, one without train upgrades, where the rejects hit hard, or even a specialized zone, infested reject zone, where train upgrades don't work and they hit harder and run faster. And then I basically said either way, you guys could easily figure it out. So either a game mode that makes the game more challenging, or we can have a nightmare zone. I talked about this on stream, but I'm thinking of a infested, eerie looking area where train upgrades aren't working. You could take more damage. It's essentially a spike up in the difficulty. Either or, that's just my current idea. Next question, which is your favorite game mode? What do you have the most fun playing? I chose machine repair because, you know me, I like extracting, I like churning the machine. That is easily my favorite part. Though I do really like the Doug zone as well as the Tesla Coil Jelly Bell zone. Those are awesome ideas, so, just because they're not my favorite doesn't mean that they're bad. Next question, who is your least favorite reject, and tell us why? I chose Cinnabon and Buddy because there's really nothing special about them compared to the rest. I mean, Buddy has a higher attention span, right? And Cinnabon has higher speed but less attention. Either or, that doesn't really differentiate them for me. They're just kind of the same character, just a slight difference in stats. Meanwhile, you got Reject Queenie that slows people down. You got Reject Jinx that puts traps. Reject Rocky that steals train parts. Zoro literally turns into 2 rejects at once. Triton has an AoE slowdown that blinds you, puts you in a, I guess, hazed sort of sense. Felicia, I mean, we don't even need to talk about this one. She just snowballs, okay? Coda, powerful boss. Jelly Bell, powerful boss. Doug's attention span is based on train parts. And Thim just kind of acts like an annoying machine gun. Very dangerous for a character like me, Felicia. I would say Cinnabon and Buddy just need something more specialized. That's why they're my least favorite. All right, next one is very generic. It says, give us your best ideas. The bigger the idea, the more interested we'll be. I wrote down, as stated above, more game modes. A speed mode so that it creates a more fast-paced scenario. That's something I would have loved to see in Dandy's world because the game is so damn slow. But even for a game like this, there are people who think they could just play on their phone while they're at lunch or maybe while they're on their way to school and blah, blah, blah. You just can't play games like these like that. They're not specialized for short-term runs. That's not possible, man. So I think a speed mode could really benefit people like that. Or for people who just don't have the patience and just want to run through stuff. I mean, that would be great too. A nightmare mode where the game is back to its original state when Dolly's factory came out. You can take multiple hits, the rejects do more damage and are faster, as well as train upgrades maybe not being a thing or heavily nerfed further. If not a nightmare mode, then a nightmare zone. Now, I've already explained that, but essentially I'll reread what I've put down. Then a nightmare zone where it's an infestation zone of rejects. Would be cool if the maps had an infestive hive-like look when you get the specialized zone. Essentially the same as I described above, but in a specialized zone. Then finally I wrote down, I think we need more machines. Absolutely. Right now, currently, all we have is the churning machine, right? Where you turn, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's other objectives like the Doug zone and the Jelly Bell zone, but in terms of the zones that you regularly encounter, which is the churning machine, that's all we have. So I said, hell, you could probably make a hybrid machine where one side is a normal cranking machine while the other side is a treadmill. Dude, wouldn't that be so damn cool if one half is churning and the other half was treadmill? Maybe even a machine where it's just dedicated to the treadmill, double treadmill. I would love to see something like this, for sure. All right, some tough love. If there's anything you don't like that you think we do wrong, we need to know. Put in a polite way, please. What bothers you? Okay, so I wrote something lengthy here. I don't like the shield items. They're beyond overpowered. It makes them useless. It's just so much easier to heal with items and use shields. I would recommend either lessening the shields given or change them completely to be damage reduction items so them has something to do. Another aspect I don't like is that quick play and the party system either isn't working or people just don't know about it. I would recommend that you guys either move that to be in a more obvious spot like in the train or fix it if it's broken, and it is entirely broken. We don't even have access to the party system anymore. No access to quick play, nothing. I only had that work one time and that was it. Something else that I don't like is that there's so much lore in the Discord, but the gameplay barely gets any. I would like to see said pillow lore in the game as a collectible so lore heads have a center for such things. So in case you didn't know, in the Dolly's Factory Discord server, there are these little comic strips where it shows a little bit of lore of the characters, sometimes even maybe getting into the field of the rejects and whatnot. And they're pretty good. It's just, it's exclusive to the Discord. The game doesn't have that at all. Stuff like that should be in the game. And there should be like some UI where you can have access to it. Maybe in your inventory, somewhere around here. That would be very good. Now, this next part, I said, I don't really know which direction you're going for, but if it's not horror, you can discard this last part. Some of the rejects look too cutesy with a bit of rainbow on their eyes with some damage. I would highly recommend that if you're trying to make them terrifying, to look towards Reject Felicia. Everyone talks about how terrifying the character is, so use that as an inspirational template. And yeah, I would agree. I mean, the rejects, they're just kind of mundane. They usually got sharp teeth, some rainbow coming out of their eyes, a little bit of disfigurement. That's pretty much it. As you can see, they look very samey in a way. So Reject Felicia, on the other hand, though, like, look at that thing, man. Everyone got a reaction out of this. Even my friends, I mean, let's be real, dude. Roblox just isn't really a platform to create terrifying games. But when they saw Felicia, instead of giving like a comedic response or even a response at all, dude, they just were like, ew, what is that? You know? Meanwhile, some of you, I know you were creeped out. So that is a character that they need to use as like the grade A template for sure. And last time I asked, it seems the answer is yes. They are shooting for a horror experience. Maybe not all the way, but regardless, if they are, they definitely gotta make things a little more terrifying. Then finally, I said some of the maps are not terrifying enough either. I would like it to be more fitting in the horror genre. I mean, it's very obvious, right? When you go into the Dolly's factory maps, yeah, there's a little bit of abandonment, but everything looks clean, colorful. I would like the maps to be a little more horrifying, like what you'd see in FXN. Just a little more rundown is essentially what I'm looking for. And that's the end of the forum. So I do hope that you guys got your hands on it and managed to give your criticisms. I mean, I would even argue it's still not too late. Yeah, sure, the forum is gone, but you could comment below about what you like about the game, what you dislike. I mean, just answer those questions here on this video. Whatever helps them give more insight. I mean, I definitely would appreciate that. All right, well, that's about it for the video. I'm really glad that they're asking. They're sort of collaborating with players in a way to figure out what they like, what they dislike about the game. We need more of that. We need more of that from every developer, realistically. I just really like that Dolly's Factory is seeking to be what developers should be seeking to make a game. Why the hell is there a blue little thing here? Anywho, that's about it, man. And with that, I'm going to be calling it here. Goodbye. Goodbye.